Hey! I hope nobody's watching right now and I just go, "Hey!" Well, if you are watching, I'm not sure if anybody's here right now, but, welcome. I hope you're doing well. Hope you had a nice Easter. We had a relaxing Easter. My brother was in town over the weekend to visit my wife and I and my dad, and so that was nice. Easter's not huge in our family. It was much bigger when we were kids, doing the hunting for Easter egg thing, and then later on, we'd have family gatherings and, you know, grill a big leg of lamb and all that kind of thing. So that was nice, but everybody's kind of spread out now. So Easter is not one of those holidays that everybody gathers around for, but that's right. It was still a lovely weekend here, and I hope you had a nice celebration yourself, or Passover. One of the that reminds me, one of my favorite holidays I ever had was hey, Bob, glad you're here. One of the favorite holidays I ever had, I grew up, um, in the Napa Valley, of all places, and I had a good friend who was Jewish, and his family were really cool. I was in a band with this guy, good friends. We remain friends to this day, and they invited me over and some other Gentiles over for Passover, and it was fantastic. It was a great meal. The parents were fantastic about sharing their knowledge about the story of Passover and the meaning of the various dishes and the wine and everything that was going on. And I just thought it was fascinating. It was very cool. Aside from that, Silencer, hello, thanks for joining me. And so anyway, that just triggered a memory. So I went there. So anyway, hope you're doing well. Please feel free to ask questions if you are here or if you're watching later on. Happy to field any questions and answer them to the best of my ability. Okay. But I did actually have something I wanted to talk about a little bit, and that is when you're just getting into this business, making a good first impression, because, the old saying, "You only got, one chance to make a good first impression," and it's totally true, and, some people are more forgiving than that, but a lot of people get turned off right away if you don't come out looking like a pro, even if you're not. So, that's the topic, uh, making sure that you're ready for the marketplace. It's one other side note. A new roof is going on right across the street. So, there are those days when being a voice actor, there's like nothing going on work-wise. Well, recording-wise, there's always stuff to do work-wise, you know, office work. But this is one of those days. I'm glad things are quiet. So, okay, anyway, so getting ready for the marketplace. Um, you don't want to put out your shingle, voice actor for hire, before you're ready, because you might be ready to go in some ways, but not ready in all ways. So let's talk about that. What does that mean? Okay, well, even if you are new to the industry, um a lot of people aren't turned off by that, producers, that kind of thing, but it makes a better impression if you come off like a pro, or if not like a seasoned professional, then at least somebody that's really trying, making an effort. They're trying they're putting in the effort and the investment in themselves so that they at least have the appearance of having their shit together. You know what I mean? So what does that mean? Well, I mean, it all comes down to really taking voice acting as a business, and this goes not just for voice acting, any acting. Any actor has their own small business these days. It has to be run that way because the days of having a manager and an agent or more, of a support network to both market you and promote you and sign the contracts and get all that. That's all. I mean, for most of us, those days are gone. I mean, fortunately, I still have some agents and stuff, but they're not. I mean, they're tending to the needs of hundreds of people, we're our best and really only source of encouragement, promotion, all of it. Our money manager, CEO, the whole schmear. Okay, so really considering this and taking this business seriously will pay off, and it makes a big impression on those you're trying to attract the business of. So some things that can make you look like you are really in the driver's seat of your own career here. Well, there are a few things, and I'll just kind of touch on these briefly. I might have already made videos about these topics, and if I haven't, I'm sure I will get to them, and probably I'll touch on them more because these are important topics. Okay, first of all, you want to be a good actor. Now, that doesn't mean that you need to be at the pinnacle of your ability as an actor because, we're always changing. We're always growing as actors. Our strengths can kind of weave and bob and change over time. Um, Particularly if you've been doing a lot of character work versus commercial work. Sometimes your career will ebb and flow and shift in direction. So it's important to be as good an actor as you are right now. And if you're not good at an actor right now, well, learn, learn, and honestly, the best way to learn about acting and become a better actor is with a coach. And coaching is expensive. Hark, my dog calls. She's probably barking at the roofers across the street. Anyway, and this is why. You can work on your acting, you can certainly run lines, and you can try on different things, but you're kind of working in a vacuum. There's nobody to see what you're doing and suggest ways that you might be more convincing in whatever role you're trying to portray. Until you get eyes and ears on you to really listen, somebody with some experience, somebody who knows what the market is like, you're not you might get there. You might become a fantastic actor on your own, but it's really hard and it takes forever to do things like that on your own because, again, you're working in a vacuum. There's nobody to bounce ideas off of. There's nobody to tell you or guide you about where your strengths are, even if you don't realize it, and also what still could use some more work, or to help you stretch your boundaries and, and sort of break you free of some hangups that you might have about some of your performance abilities. It can really make a huge difference. Okay, so there's that. Bob, hopefully this isn't a rude question. I don't care. Ask rude questions. If it's really rude and I'm put off by it, I'll just I might give you a one finger salute. But what are you saying here? Are you still part of UVT, or are you doing your own thing now? That's a very good question, Bob. I have left UVT, and I am doing my own thing now. Um, I was with UVT for, God, 7 or 8 years, I think, and I just decided, hey, I want to do my own thing. I've always been like that. I've always been, ever since I started my own company, way back before I became a professional voice actor, I wanted to do my own thing. Even when I was working for, in my first jobs, when I was, God, I started working in a winery when I was in high school. Then I got into the hotel industry, that kind of thing. I always saw, I always